Keep this Gmail address for any communications. If you have any issues with installation and all, just use this email address, luxuryb76@gmail.com. Any issues, you can communicate via that. Let's start. Right. So last time we were just discussing our presentation. We don't need to open that one. We just completed that one. Our cloud infrastructure presentation. We did that one. So today we will start Oracle stuff, getting familiar with Oracle, actually the practicals, database, installation. Of course, I can go to the installation. Let me do a walkthrough as well. That will help you know. But I'll be going to the Linux-based one, which is the recommended, and in the industry it is used in Linux very highly. So let me go to on Linux base. Before starting the Oracle part, let's do a small hands-on. I just demonstrate a small hands-on because on cloud we have discussed a lot of theory and explanations about the infrastructure side, cloud models and all. Last time we discussed about migrations as well and the certifications. So this is just for you to get an idea. Now just think about the same practical that we are trying to do, installing Oracle. Now, if you want to install Oracle on a local machine like the previous resource who had problems, so you need to have a local laptop or a desktop with sufficient resources, memory and processing power, everything you need. But if you just think about in cloud, provisioning an instance, that is known as a provisioning instance. So the same configuration, same desktop or laptop kind of a thing you can have in cloud. That is known as a cloud instance, and it falls under infrastructure, cloud infrastructure. Depending on our requirement, it may be on platform as a service, it may be on infrastructure service. Anyway, it comes under infrastructure because we are provisioning another computer on cloud remotely. We are going to access. So for the same purpose, we can do whatever we want depending on. Let's say if you are on the free tier, there are certain limitations. We understand that in every cloud they offer free tier. Can you see my screen? It's visible for you?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah. So every cloud vendor, they give free tier for normally 1 year. But it depends. There are conditions. Somebody say in this much of hours, let's say in AWS, they give 750 hours per year. And for certain services, there are restrictions. So likewise, there are conditions. But anyway, there are total free stuff. If you go to even Azure or Oracle, there are free stuff. So in Azure, they are telling initially the trial version will be given for 1 month. Then if you want to extend it for the rest of the 12 months, you need to, extend your particular account for pay as a go model, pay as you go model. That is, we know that we discussed, we don't have capital infrastructure, sorry, the capital expenditure in the cloud. We always pay for what we use. That is the pay as you go model. So in Azure, for 1 month, they will give you to use the account as a trial version. It still is free. But if you want to continue for the rest of the 12 months, rest of the 1 year, then you need to upgrade your account to a account type called pay as you go account. But that also free. That's also free. So that is the case in Azure. and Oracle, they have different method. And in Alibaba Cloud, they have different method. Google Cloud, they have different method. So likewise, there are specific, the way they give the free accounts, there are certain changes across these vendors. But in general, all cloud vendors, they offer free accounts, free tier. That is known as the free tier. So that the resources can have, experience their certain services, and they can get some practice hands-on doing instance provisioning, creation, databases likewise. Now in AWS, they have this RDS, Relational Data Service for databases. I'll be touching upon these things little by little, and I'll be demonstrating you the rest of the cloud vendors as well. Today I just want to show you a small practical on AWS, how to provision an instance and how to connect to that. On the upcoming days, let's go for Oracle Cloud, Azure Cloud, and let's provision SQL Server instances, the Oracle instances, Postgre instances. Let's see. These things are possible in prettier. I think you all, I think first day also I asked this question, you have Azure accounts. So, but how many of you have AWS accounts? Anyone who have AWS prettier accounts?
I haven't created stuff. Previously in GitHub Student Development Pack, they offered AWS for 1 year, but now they are offering Azure.
Okay.
I was enrolled to a Coursera course. Then I had a AWS account. Now it is expired.
Okay, so that means some of you have had experience in AWS. That's good. That's great. Anyway, let me just do a simple, demo on how to provision a EC2 instance. But anyway, even if you want to have a AWS account, pre-tier account, it's just very simple. I mean, if you just have the only requirement is you need to have a Visa card or something, account in a bank. So just maintain 1,000 rupees and just have a card, right? So don't try to deposit so much of more than 1,000 because since you are learning mode, I mean, if you use these services which are not eligible for the pre-tier, so without your attention, it might get charged for you. At the end of the month, you might get a large bill. So therefore, if the account doesn't have money, they can't, get it charged, no, because the account do not have sufficient funds, so they can't cut those things from your account. So therefore, just keep around 1,000 rupees. So it's safe for you initially. But anyway, AWS and these people are very friendly because Oracle, Google, I mean, they are not going to, put any penalty or punish you just because you are not paying, because they understand that you are not doing a business, that you all are students and you all are doing for learning. So, I mean, even if they ask, even if we explain it to them, we are over email, I am just a student, this is, I don't run a business, this is for my learning, I did that, so they will excuse you, no worries about that. So they are always, all of these cloud vendors are very helpful and for learning. And actually it is for their own benefit, because if you get familiar with their services and if you use it only, then only you are think about doing business with them. That's the case, no? I mean, even without knowing what is EC2 instance and what is Oracle instance and how to provision Oracle database, a SQL Server database, and then you will never think about the business, no? So that's why. So that's the reason why they allow these pre-tiers and all. Fine. So in AWS, let me just tell you, we have something called EC2, Elastic Cloud Instances. If we just click here, under EC2, you'll get, and by the way, this is the AWS console. Earlier, I was in the home page actually, AWS console home page. And I went to EC2 instances, Elastic Cloud instances, and I have the EC2 dashboard here. So it will tell me under instances, EC2, it has many services integrated to it. So instance is one of them. Instance is nothing but just a computer, just a remote computer. I have the network, Elastic IPs. I have the keys. Keys is for login, because there we need to have authentication mechanism for our remote computer. And it is not password based, it is key based. We can enable password based, no problem, but by default it's using something called keys, private and public keys. Let's see how it's working. And placement groups, yeah, these are a bit advanced things. Snapshot, that is for backup and all. Yeah, we can get dedicated host. This is about this is instances running at the moment, so I don't have anything. I mean, normally I don't keep stuff, and this account I am using for demonstrating purposes. So whatever things I am doing, I am right after I am terminating those things. So I have to make sure that it is not charging, it is not costing me. So let me explain those things for you. And load balancers, security groups for, your, now when you launch an instance, how do you going to access it? Now, for example, if it is a Linux-based instance, using which protocol we are going to access, whether it's going to be TCP/IP, it is going to be, yeah, go ahead.
SSL.
Yes, answer. Yeah, whether it's going to be TCP, secured, SSH connection, yes. So security groups will control those things. And what are the ports you are going to enable? By default, port 22 is enabled for SSH, and what are the other ports or security groups? Very important. And this volume is nothing much, just that's your disk space. your disk, how much of storage. Now, normally by default, they will give a 20 GB, if I'm not mistaken, for free tier, and we can always add within our free tier, and we have to make sure it is not costing us. Okay, fine. So let's see. I can right away click launch instance. Okay, let's right away launch an instance without getting to more of these details. I'm clicking launch instance. So it will take me to instance launching page. So this is what. So there are different instance types. Different means I can have Linux-based instances. In Linux also there are flavors. No. Now AMI is Amazon Linux. They have their own customized version. That is Amazon Linux, AMIs. And we have Red Hat Linux. Right? We have Ubuntu based. We have Mac OS. And we have SUSE. So options are there for us. Which flavor we want, we can utilize. And not only the Linux, we have Windows versions as well. Windows 10, 2019 versions are there. But the thing is, since we are in free tier, we cannot utilize everything. We cannot utilize everything. These all are different instance types. So we have to make sure we are utilizing what is eligible in the free tier. Now, for example, in my case, I'm going to go down and let's use something called free tier eligible. Now, this is clearly telling free tier eligible, free tier eligible. So these are okay to use. Free tier eligible, no? So it says, indicates that now. But if you go down further now, you don't see free tier eligible for this Windows. It's going to charge you if you launch this instance. But this again, free tier eligible. So let's launch a Ubuntu instance. Ubuntu 20.04 instance. And I'm going to select this one. I can use 32 or 64-bit. No, it's only available 64 AMI instance. So let's use the default one, 64-bit. I'm going to select this one. And now it's asking me again, you can see what is the category, instance type. AWS offers many instance types actually. So T1 micro, T2, T1 nano, medium, large, lot of options are there. But you can see out of all, only this one has a green label, free tier eligible. But if you go down further, you can see they have large instances. Why is becoming large? When you're going down little by little, you can see the number of resources getting increased. Now, if you select the free tier one, it will give you only one CPU. Processing power, very low, one CPU. 1 GB of memory, likewise. And the storage type, elastic block storage, EBS, that is okay. So likewise, in the free tier, this is T2 nano instance type. It is giving low amount of resource power. Performance-wise, machine is not so good, but we can do many things with the free tier, this particular instance, no problem. Now, don't think in cloud instances, just because it is in 1 GB, it is same speed as your, I mean, on-premise. Now, on-premise, you never have a computer with 1 GB, no, minimum is 4 GB. But this particular computer will work equal speed, similar to a 4 GB machine in on-premise. So it's different. I mean, the way the cloud infrastructure provision is a little different. It's not same as the local machine. Fine. So let's continue. I'm going to select, I can change this, but it will cost us if you do it. Let's stay in the free tier. I'm going to say next configuration instance detail. Now I can do my configurations here, but usually as a beginner, what you can do, don't worry about this. There are a lot of options here, a lot of configurations are there. Don't worry about these things because initially we need to learn how to connect to a machine, how to launch a machine, about the basic security setting, basic protocol setting, basic port settings. Like there are very basic things for us to learn. So we need to learn those things first. After getting familiar with the basic things, then you can think about these options like spot instances, and we have the VPC, virtual private connectivity, and again VPNs, so subnet, those many things are there to go down. So let's not worry about those things. I'm going to leave as it is, and number of instances I want only one. If I give 2, 3 here, it will parallelly launch 3 instances. I don't want, I am just keeping here. And next, add in the storage. So I can just add it or leave it default. we can see only gigabytes. GIB is gigabyte, gigabytes. 8 GB is given. No, yeah, that's okay. And this is SSD is given by default. Type GP2. There are other storage types, but for treat here, this is okay for us. And IO input output operation speed is this much. This is okay for learning. Encryption, we are not going to change that. Again, this is how the device is going to, the mount point will be this dev STA1. That's the mount point. Volume type root. So no changes, leaving as it is by default. And again, telling next one is tag. So tagging means nothing much, just to give a name for the machine. So we can label it. Name. My label is name. The value for the label, let's say test1. This is just a test instance. Test instance. So what will happen? Your instance will be named with this name, test instance. Okay. Then the security group. So by default, this is the case. Only the SSH protocol is enabled. SSH type via TCP. SSH is port actually. TCP is the protocol. SSH is the port. The port number is 22. So that's a default case. And I can customize. Customize in a sense, from which point I can access the machine. I can filter those things. Incoming traffic, outgoing traffic, how I'm going to manage. So if I leave it like this, 000 means I'm not putting any restrictions. The machine is accessible from anywhere in the world. It's like it is open for anywhere, for the whole world, the machine is open, accessible. And I can restrict. I can say custom, and likewise I can say only from this machine. Now if I say my IP, I'll be able to access only from this desktop. That's what's going to happen. I'm filtering it. I can customize, I can say anywhere, and I can say custom like that. So I can put it, so let it be default anywhere. So I'm going to leave it anywhere. So I think if I go back and if I come forward, so anyway, that shows the default value as well. Anywhere means it is open for everywhere in the world. Whole world can access this machine. Given the what? Given the password. We need to give the password. Now password is going to be the key. Let's see. Let's check that one. So only this, and I can say create a new security group, or I can use the existing one. So in this case, let's create a new one. I can give a name here. Name for the security group. So let it be default. That's fine. Okay, and anywhere, let's say review and launch. So I'm going to review and find. So that is, we don't to do that much of changes here. Instance details, and let's check those things once it launch. So I can check those things, what the things that I have given up to now. And these are the things, that's okay. And the port is 22. So that's the only port I'm opening. And EBS storage and launch. Now, when I'm launching, it is asking that key. Key is what? How do I access the machine? How I am going to authenticate to this machine? So I don't have an existing key, so I'm going to create a new key pair. So that's what I mentioned. It's not password-based authentication. It is a security key-based authentication, public key and private key. RSA key. And this is a new method of authenticating, which is much secure than RSA keys. And these are nothing much, only encryption mechanism. So, but anyway, let's stick to very recent. AWS introduced this nearly 4 months back. So there is a much secure method, but let's use this one for our purpose. And I'm going to give a name, test1 key. What I should do, should download the key pair, because I need that one to access. So it's going as a PEM because it's the public key. Yeah, so PEM key, PEM key, and text test1. So that's the name I gave. I think there has been another name for test1, right? What doesn't matter? I gave test that rename. No, that's fine. That's okay. Don't do any harm. And then I say launch the machine. So now it's launching my instance, and I can access it here. If I click there, it will be available. At the moment, it is launching in progress. So it will take 1 minute around to launch. So this is the one. is test1. That's what I gave the name as test1. This is the ID. I didn't customize it, so by default assign ID. And instance state is not ready, now running. And this is T2 micro instance, and also the details are there. So I didn't customize many of the options, so most of the things are default. So how do we access this one? So if I select this one, if you go down, you can see the details of my instance. Details, instance ID, public private keys. This is the private key. Private key is nothing much, just the IP address of the machine. Because now even for a local host, now even for a laptop, your desktop, you are having IP, no? If you connect to the network, you are having the IP. So that is a private IP. So that is for the local connectivity. But to access from outside, there's another IP called public IP. Now, for if you want to log into this machine, I have to use which one? Public IP, this IP. So let me copy that one by clicking here. Now the instance is up and running. So let's keep the rest of the details, because we need to have, we can take a look at the availability songs and not, because I didn't do any changes. I launched this machine in this particular region, US Ohio region, and the availability song is this US East 2. This is the region. Normally we can change it. Normally in AWS we don't launch the instances which are very far. I mean, we need to be in our region. Now we are in Sri Lanka now. So it's always better to launch an instance within Asia Pacific region, not in EMEA, I mean, no, or Europe region, no, US. So because farther instance, the latency will be higher. US is very far for us, no? So therefore the network latency will be higher. So always concern, it's a concern on AWS, even in Azure. But Oracle Cloud, that concern is not there. In Oracle Cloud, that's a difference. Anywhere in the world, you have the same speed, same network speed. But in AWS, Azure, that problem is there. So make sure you are accessing, you are launching instances with the closest region. Now for us, we can select India, Singapore, that's fine, instead of telling Ohio. Okay, so just get to know those things. In your cloud lessons, this will be explained more detail, but I am just telling you, I just want to show you how to provision the infrastructure, because our scope is different. We have to touch upon the database as cloud infrastructure, no? Fine. So that is, let's access this one. If I selected the IP address, this is my IP address. Yeah, 145.127.241. Now, how do you access? Anyone knows how to access this? Yeah, there are two resources who have done this, no? How to access this instance? If a kernel and the cover. Done at the
Using the public IPv4 given.
yeah, true, but how do you do that? The tool we have to use some tool, right? You can do that either via SSH client, browser based feature. Yeah, this is one way of doing that using SSH client. Yeah, from AWS instance, AWS console itself you can access. But let me tell you easy method. There's a tool called mobile system. Anyone have heard about mobile system? Mobile system? No, this is a tool. Mobile system. If I just click here, mobile extern. Now this is much easier than PuTTY. There's another tool called PuTTY, and very easy because there are no need to convert these public and private keys. What can I do? Just open the tool. This is freely available. This is a free tool for Linux, Windows, both it is available. So you can download and unzip. There's nothing called installation in mobile system. Just to download it and unzip. And now I am in Windows. Now I launch it on Windows. Right? This is my Windows box. So what you can do, very simply say sessions and say test session, and my remote host I am going to give the IP and specify user. Since I am using Ubuntu, my default username is Ubuntu for that instance. It's Ubuntu box, so its default username is Ubuntu, and this is my public IP. And very simply, advanced SSH settings, use private key, and I'm going to select my key. What was the key? This one. Earlier I downloaded the PEM key. So test one, I'm just selecting and I'm doing OK. So that's all I have to do. Very simple. Only 3 settings: IP, user, key. Okay, I'm saying OK. I should allow me access because port 22 is available and it is already open in the Linux particular Ubuntu instance, and this is my IP, public IP, and it is available. Now I am in the machine. I can just simply clear it and I can just type pwd. This is where I am at the moment. ls -l tr. So there is nothing at the moment, and I can use I don't think VI editor is there. Yeah, by default VI editor comes and I can go to insert and I can type anything, something else. So my machine is available. IPADDR. So this is my IP address. Private IP address is there because that's I'm in my local machine. Okay, so very simple. Any questions? Got the idea? ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා අහන්න. Okay, so try it out. Since you have Azure account, now Azure I will demonstrate in other day, but you can try it out. ඔය step මේ යන්න පුළුවන්. Mobile system is a common tool. Whether using Azure, Oracle, wherever you can connect from mobile system. Pretty easy. Mobile system. So try that one and use it. There are a lot of features in mobile system. Copy in between host to Windows and from Windows to Linux, file transfer, FTP, a lot of options are there in mobile system. Very useful tool. And it's a free tool. Okay. But now, very important part, just because you access the machine, don't leave the instance like that. Okay, I'm going to exit from here. Let's close this. Don't leave the instance like that. Even for free tier, don't do that because you have free number of hours. There are free number of hours for your free account, free tier account. So you are wasting your hours. So don't do that. If you are not using the machine, what you have to do, either you can stop it. Actions here, instant state, you can stop the instance. That is, if why you are instant stopping, because you need to reuse it. Reuse it. You can start it at any time later without taking time. Just click. No need to launch it, no, because instant already there. It's like you are shutting down your machine, shutting down your computer. So just restart. That is because you want to use it again. But if you don't use it forever, what you can do, terminate the instance. So terminated instances, by default, you can't retrieve back. It is deleted. Okay. So I'm going to terminate it because I'm not going to use this one. So this is for demonstration purpose I did. So it will shut down and it will delete it off. Alarms and a lot of things are there, so let's not go there for the time being. So I just want to show you how to provision an infrastructure, very basic infrastructure, very easily on the cloud environment, pretty easy, very quickly you can do it. And most of the things are done for us, operating system and machine is ready within few seconds for us to use. Okay, great. So any questions you can ask?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I have an Azure instance running for custom vision. What I get for my project. It has been up for nearly 4 or 5 months. Will I be get charged after a while?
So this is provision from university?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that you have to check with them how those accounts are being provisioned. So normally these accounts, the billing is going for university, no? So you are using just a student account, right? So,
yes, but I did use my credit card.
They are offering $300 credit. Oh, sure.
Students, they are offering that kind of credit. But once we are registering, once we start to use those instances, we have to give our credit card details or the debit card.
That means that's something critical. So if you are not using, just stop those things. Don't use it like that. Definitely, if you are not using, otherwise you are just wasting there for 5 months. Means how many instances are up and running there?
Yeah, only one.
Only one is fine. Did you check your bill, monthly bill?
Yeah, they are kept giving me, sending me the bills, but in those bills, the balance or yeah, it says the $0 because I have 1 year subscription because of this student account.
Yeah. Then it's okay. Then that means your particular instances, custom mission, those things falls under free tier. That's the reason. So don't worry about that. So you won't be charged for 5 months if it is $0. That means you are within the free tier.
Okay.
So I don't think it will be charged, but make sure, but make it the best practice. If you are not using the instance, keep it stopped. Keep it stopped. So it's better anyway, That's all. Let me just Ec2. Wow, sure. Let's go Ec2 portal login. Yeah. Let's check the sign. Yeah. Okay. I'm in the right account. So this is Azure. Now, in this case, the best thing is this free services. I demonstrate more details later on this one. You can just click free services, then you get the whole list of free services available. So the Azure tells you that one in one shot. Before, as a beginner, before using Azure, just check it. Even if you type here, free, it will give you free services. So then now you are you can at a glance you can see what are the free instances. So any of these things are free. 750 hours, 750 hours. So you have within your $300 limit, because after 1 month you need to upgrade your account to pay as you go account. No, I think you have done that by now. Okay, so these are free. So just make sure you are utilizing the resources out of these free resources. All these free services, likewise. Okay, so as far as you are within the free tier, you won't get charged. No worries about that. Great. So let us use SQL Server instance. Let us launch a SQL Server here, and let us connect and see in later. With the upcoming practicals, we will do that. Fine. Any other questions like that? This is Oracle Cloud. Check this account. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure that one. I need to check that. I have the account, but I think I did some change. Let me do it on next day. I'll show you the Oracle Cloud on next day. That's fine. Okay, so any other question like that? Are you okay? Fine. Now, then let's start getting familiar with this Oracle database. Let's start with a very basic thing. Let me just go here. And I am following the order in the learning platform, the channel, what is this? All the recordings are there, so it will be easy for you. CP, the basic ones are CP. Getting familiar with Oracle database. Yes, so this is the very first starting. And you may wonder, in the channel, you have something called CP, CP1, CP2. CP is nothing but just, I think in the introduction, channel introduction, I have explained it. So it is just a competence level 1. Anything under from CP1 to CP10 is basic competency level. Basic competency level. So you all are fall under that category because we are just starting to learn. And CP1, so under that, understanding. Yeah, this one will be good. The very first practical, very first hands-on. Getting familiar with database competence level 1. Yeah, let's go to this. Okay, activity 1. Practicals are based still in 12C, but I'll be using both databases, 19C and 12C. I have 21C as well, but let's use these two, 19C and 12C. Okay. I switched the screen. Is it visible? You can see, no?
Yes, sir, visible.
Yeah, I'll be sharing these guides for you, right? So this is for you to get familiar with hands-on practicals as well. So I'll be sharing these things via the LMS. Hope the things, the lectures also I am sharing. So I think those are accessible, no? You all are watching those, no? In the LMS. Those are accessible, right? LMS uploaded sessions. Okay, බලලා නැද්ද කට්ටිය? බැරි නේද ඒක මේ ලෙක්චර් එක අප්ලෝඩ් කරලා තියෙන දෙකම දාලා තියෙනවා මම. Anyway, you can watch those things, right? I mean, if somebody is missing the lecture and you can go there. It's, I think it's heading for a YouTube, same learning platform is heading, but you can access it to LMS. And yeah, let me just show you. Even if you don't go to the LMS, you have here. I have opened a new portal for that, a new playlist. So it is here. Your sessions are here. All sessions are here. Interactive learning. So I have uploaded. These were the 2 sessions that we did for the last 2 weeks. Today is the 3rd week. So sessions are available here. Same thing. Either you come for LMS, it comes to here. So you can watch those things. If anyone missing the unable to attend, you can watch, and recording is available. Okay. Yes. Fine. So this is the first one. Getting familiar with Oracle installation and database. Fine. Getting familiar with Oracle installation. Okay. So very first thing is let me just go through with the installation. Even though I am coming to here, this will start. This is on Linux based. That's okay. You all have to get familiar with Linux. I can show you in Windows as well. Now, this is right away starting with Linux and type in the ID command and all to get which user is at the moment and switch into Oracle. Yeah, so before this, let me just walk through you the installation. Now, where is the installation? Installing Oracle. DB install this one, and I have installed in the same host. I think this is the same guide. Yeah, this is the guide. So this is available again in the channel, the GitHub, it is linked into the GitHub, and this is the same guide. Now this is to install Oracle on Linux. And this documentation, if somebody wants to learn more details about the installation, if you just go to this link, Oracle has nice documentation, the comprehensive documentation. They have a lot of free stuff to learn. I have explained again in that introductory video, which is in the channel. So this is from the beginning, Linux 7 installation guide. So because we are installing Oracle on Linux, that guide is to install on Linux. So the very first thing is installing Linux. If you want to learn further, you can refer to this one as well. This is very comprehensive. But it will take time for you to learn. That's okay. If you reading, a lot of reading is required. This is Oracle documentation for Linux. Oracle Linux is their own product. Their own product. And Here I have given the summary of it, summarizing those things, system requirements, and now the latest Oracle Enterprise Linux is 8.4, even though we have seen 7 here, and we have seen the highest version of 7, that is 7.9, but this is the latest is 8.4. So just read those things. I don't need to go to one by one. The system requirements, normally for Oracle 19c, we expect at least 8 GB of memory, 8 GB of RAM. Even if you go for VirtualBox, try to allocate 8 GB for that VirtualBox, so it is manageable then. It's okay, you can go for 6 GB, don't go for 4 GB with 19c, not enough. 12c it will be okay. And processor, even Core i3, Core i5, that is okay. Hard disk space we need for the Oracle database and installation, just keep at least 30 GB, because we need to have a test database up and running, and the installation also 30 GB is required. And further, if you do an experiment in backup and recovery and all, you need at least 50 GB. Right, so obtaining installation media, because that is the software download, we need to download it. I have given it here, the link and all. edelivery.oracle.com, I think you all have access from here. Anyone who have visited edelivery.oracle.com, or have you visited just oracle.com and downloaded? Is that? How did you do that? Now there are several resources who have installed edelivery or oracle.com.
Oracle.com.
Yeah, but get familiar with edelivery as well. edelivery is a dedicated website where Oracle maintains for downloads. edelivery. Software delivery cloud is what. Same login will work. If you have Oracle login for the site, that login is acceptable here. And just get familiar with this one, because in the future, if you are trying to build a carry with Oracle, not all products are available in oracle.com. For other products, you need to come here. Grid Impa, RAG, DataGuard, for those things, you need to come for edelivery. And the mistake. So this is the site, and if you want to, for example, I want to get database, so I can just type database and search. So it will give you the list. From 11G it is there. So I want 12C, 19C, Oracle database 11G, Oracle database 12C. The categories are given. I can select and click the version I want. But there are different versions. Still, we have a learn Oracle version number. So we will learn more detail. It's a 5-digit number, 121020. We need to understand what is mean by that. And again, for Linux as well. So for Linux, we just type OEL, Oracle Enterprise Linux. It will give you OEL, and these are the versions. So as I said, now almost 8.5 also there. So 8.4 now 8.5 also there, and we are using 7.9 the latest. Latest means the highest on 7.9. Latest is 8.5. Highest, latest on 7.9. This is what we are using for our installation. Because 8.8 versions are a bit different. It's okay, since you are starting installation and all, you can start with 7.9. That's fine. Okay, so that is edelivery, and this explained here. And how to get it also there. Steps are given. Demonstration is available in the channel. So recording is available in the channel, and you can watch that one. And this is, yeah, there are kernel requirements. There are parameter settings, kernel settings, security settings to be done with Linux. So that is what is all in the kernel header issue. So I have given it. This is a general problem that we have to resolve when we installing on Linux, because we need to communicate your Linux box and Windows box. So to establish the communication between the host and guest, we need this setup to be done. So that's why we are doing this. Otherwise, we can skip this. But the only thing is, when you want to copy some data from Linux to Windows, we need this something called guest additions. So to install guest additions, we need this configuration. So that is why we are doing that. And I have covered the errors and all. So just using yum, you can configure those things, the package installations. So finally, once you do that, then we can start installing Oracle 12.2. We need to, the very first thing is, there are prerequisites. So not a big thing, just to run the yum file, yum package manager for Linux, yum install, and this will get you the packages which will install the prerequisites. There are pre-requirements before installing the Oracle database. So Oracle Server 12.2 pre-install will do that automatically for you. There are certain packages to be installed, so it will do it for us. And after that, we can vi etc, and this is to change the host name. We need to give the entries, what is the host name and all, proper naming convention. I have given the local host, whatever name you can give, but give the domain as well, local domain. And disable the firewall, system control stop firewall, and disable it. And we need to have this directory. So this is the directory structure. So we will learn, we have Oracle home and base here. I think even in Windows now, since you will have done the installation on Windows, if you go to Windows, I have Windows installation as well. Let me just show you under app. This is the way the Windows install is done. App Oracle product. I have both 12.1 and 19. And so this is what? DB home 1. So the same structure, same Oracle home and Oracle base available here. D app Oracle product 12.1 DB home. So it's the same thing. The only thing is it's not D and C, those are partitions in Windows, but in Linux we don't say partitions, we have mount points. So in Linux we have this U01, that's the mount point in Linux. This is the way. Other than that, same directory structure. So here I am using 12.1, but in Linux I have used 12.2. That's a new version. That's okay. Don't worry, we are going to these things, Oracle home and base. And we are given the permission 775. So after that, there is something called bash.profile in Linux. We will understand what is bash profile. The Oracle database name and the settings are done like the Windows desktop. Now in Windows desktop, we are setting those things now. So Linux, we have the bash profile. So let's learn those things in more detail later. So I have set up those path and library settings are here. Then it's just to install Oracle. After that, we can go to, again, we need to download and delivery. And Exospass is to enable GUI interface. Switching to Oracle user, we need to have a separate user like in Windows administrator. In Linux, we don't use a root account. We have to have a dedicated account for Oracle. That's why we are using user called Oracle. So we are switching to Oracle. After that, this is to enable the GUI, export display 00. We will understand, I'll explain these things more detail later. And again, run installer. This is just like double click in the setup. Windows, you double click the setup, it will start the installer. Linux, you just say /run installer, it will start the installer. So then it's just a matter of click installation. So likewise, and you can continue the installation with the database. So I have explained it here, and as well as in the, I think in the channel, the practical is fully done. So you can just go through it and get it done. Oracle Gold Image concept is there. Gold Image is a way of making the installation easy. Without always unzipping and installing, you can just copy and paste Gold Image concept. So I have attempted and explain it what is Gold Image here. Just for your knowledge, try to do it, and it is for your knowledge. So I mean, I don't have the intention of explaining the whole installation here, but since it is done, it's up to you to paste the challenge and try it out. Worst case, if you can't do it, go to on Windows. That doesn't matter. Windows is just level click and doing it now. I can share you a Windows installation. If you can't do the installation, then let me know. I will share you a Oracle guide from Oracle itself, how to do it on Windows. But my advice is, since it is easily can be done, not a big challenge on Linux, since everything is guided with a video, try it on Linux. So that is your future. That's why I don't want to go for Windows, because production is on Linux and Unix and Solaris.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Is Oracle Linux based on Red Hat?
Actually, it's based on SUSE initially, not on Red Hat, because it's a mix of versions, I would say. This came out in 2010, the first version, Oracle Enterprise Linux. The plus point is it is well tuned for Oracle database kernel and for Oracle products. That's the thing. So therefore, in production, we don't recommend Red Hat or any other Linux flavor to install Oracle. If some business is running Oracle database, we highly recommend go with Oracle Enterprise Linux, because the kernel is well tuned. It affects the performance of the database. Got it?
Yes, sir. I have heard that most of the production environment uses Red Hat when they're going for the Oracle databases. I think I have heard in incorrect manner.
Yeah, that was correct. No, what you have heard was correct. That was some time back. Still, there are organizations, even in Sri Lanka, they are going for Red Hat. There are reasons for this, because the licensing problem. Let's say if they want to license, they can't just license Oracle. No. Oracle is a database. They want to license the hardware as well. So if their hardware provider is Red Hat, let's say they want to purchase hardware from a Red Hat vendor, then what they will do, they will say, okay, we will give the hardware box, we will give Red Hat, and on top of it, we will give Oracle license free. That's what they say. Okay. So to get that benefit, some customers are going for Red Hat. It's okay, no problem. As far as you are running in medium, not a basic, medium environment with one standby site and with the basic disaster recovery features, high availability and all is fine. But if you are running a critical business, you can't tolerate any downtime. You can't tolerate downtime, data loss. You need zero data loss, zero downtime, always available database. Then it's recommended to go for Oracle Enterprise Linux. Yes. And again, now Oracle, I think, yeah, I'll go there now. I just explain those things because we need to understand certain background related to Oracle, because Oracle is a total solution provider. If the customer is looking for an Oracle solution, under one umbrella, they can get the total solution, meaning from the hardware to software to web to middleware to everything. That is the beauty of Oracle, because everything is available under one umbrella. But in the old days, it was not the case. Oracle didn't have the hardware boxes. Old days means I am talking about before 2010, way back, 10 to 11 years back. They didn't have the hardware boxes. So after that only they introduced hardware boxes, because Oracle in the history, their key product was database. As I am talking about 2001, 2002. After 2005 only they initiated other products. I mean middleware, Fusion apps, likewise. So now it's a total solution provider, and it's a giant cloud provider as well. Okay, right. So that is just to give an idea on installation. So try it out. Just give a try. Right. Any more questions on that?
So sometimes will it be possible to run Oracle Enterprise in a virtual machine in our computer because of limited RAM space?
No. If you have 8 GB, is more than enough. More than enough. Yeah.
Sometimes I have 6 GB.
6 GB is also enough. That is you are in the margin. You can manage. No
So
issue.
when I create virtual machine, do we have to select like 6 GB for virtual machine?
Yeah, that will do it. 6 GB. And give, okay, let me show you that. This is the way. Let me show you now. In my case, I have now this box. This one 19.3 grid control. Yeah, let me show you that. It has a base memory of, yeah, you can see 5.6 MB. That means 5 GB, 5632. This has only 5.6 GB of memory. There's an Oracle database running here, a 19C1. So it's manageable. But for your level, it's okay with 50 GB because you need to just to run test and database. No, that is enough. ORCL basic database with 6 GB you can manage.
Doesn't it take total RAM in testing? Because if the virtual machine use total RAM, it will stuck my computer maybe.
Don't do that. What you can do, if let's say if your host OS is 8 GB, okay, give 5 GB for virtual machine.
Oh, okay.
At least leave 3 GB for OS.
Oh.
So with that, you can do a Oracle database, no problem. Will that solve the problem?
Then I have only 3 GB.
No, that is for the OS, no.
Okay.
So the base OS, you have 3 GB, right? 3 GB of room. But 5 GB you are giving for the virtual box.
Okay.
Manageable. You will do it.
Okay, sir.
Try it out. That is possible. That is the lowest you can come. Huh?
Okay.
Not lower than that for the virtual box. Yeah, nowadays the cost is high for this RAM and all. No, that's another problem. Official Docker image. Yeah. Docker image, you can do it. That's another option. Instead of using a VirtualBox, what you can do. No, and the question is, where are you going to run the Docker image? It is on Windows or Linux? Yeah, Linux. Okay. Okay, let me show you these things since the questions are coming just with, without just giving a theoretical answer. Let me just show you. Okay, let me just open this one for the previous question. Now I'm going to open my Linux box 19 and 12. These both are there. Okay, let me open it. So starting, this one is on Linux, Oracle Enterprise Linux 7.9. It is having both databases 12 and 19. Yeah, let it take that time. And the other question, you can choose to run Docker on Windows as well. Docker desktop is there. But since you said it Linux, that's the best option. That's the best option. So, but the problem is you need to have a Linux version. No? So still you need the VirtualBox. What you can do, get Oracle Enterprise Linux on a VirtualBox, fine, and you don't install Oracle. You are composing a Docker image. You are embedding the Oracle installation image inside Docker, and you are doing that. But see, you no need to compose from the beginning. You can Dockerize the installation from the beginning, but don't do that. Oracle has an official GitHub repository. I think you are aware of it. Whoever this, I think, yeah, Naveen, no? So are you aware of the Oracle GitHub repository for Docker? There is official GitHub repository. Yeah, so download that one, and from there you can compose it. Just a matter of running the SH files. So you can do it easily, but you need the Linux. So the very first thing is getting the Linux OS up. So here now I am having, this is I think this is my Oracle Enterprise Linux 7 version. Yeah, so this is my Linux 7. And here I am having Oracle 12 and 19 both up and running. Yes, so this is I have connected to $3 version. Yeah, so this is 19.3 and I am having 12 also here. This is my 19.3. If I just go back, I can simply go back. Product. So here I have 12 on as well. 12 also there. So I have both 19 and 12. Fine. And for this one, actually, I have given a little bit of more memory because I am dual booting. I am installing both versions in my same virtual box. For this one, I have given 11 GB of memory. That is because I am having both 12C and 19C. I need to run parallelly. So then I need more memory, no? But you don't do that. You install only one version. In the guide, it is going for both versions, but it is doing separate, you know. Don't try to install both. Just install either 12C or 19C. That you can get it done in the guide. It is doing it separately. It's finishing the 12 first and going for 19C. So either you can stop at 12C and go, or you can continue from 19C. Either step you can do, no problem. So that is that one. Running 12C on Linux. There, I'll be explaining these things later again with the practical. Let me just other one now, the Docker problem. Let me just shut it down because then I have this one, DevOps. Now, if you need to Dockerize Oracle, you need to have only the OS, no? Only the OS. On top of it, you need Docker platform. You need to install Docker. Great. And if you don't have the prior knowledge, that is another question. You better not just start Docker. If you don't have the prior knowledge, again, let me just open that one. This is DevOps. I will start it. And Kubernetes and everything is there. So what you can do, if you interested in Docker, we have in the channel, I have that one. So go to this portal, in the playlist, go to DevOps portal. TNS DevOps, whole DevOps is there, including Kubernetes. So what you can do, just watch this introduction first, introduction to Docker. So everything is explained. For a beginner, what is needed is here, right? With regard to Docker, related to Docker. So what this CP1 and CP2, you will get the idea about what is Docker and what is the difference between VM and Docker and those things. Then under this one, building a CI/CD pipeline, on this lesson and this lesson, I am explaining how to install Docker because you need the Docker platform to get the Docker image, no? Oracle Docker image. So install the Docker platform first. After that only you can start Dockerizing the Oracle database. Sorry. So whoever that, I think Naveen, no? Yeah. You can follow that procedure if you want to get it done on Docker. Good at it. I mean, great choice. Try it out. If it is work, you have overcome the challenge and it's the best. Try it out, no problem. After that, there is no difference. I mean, whenever you finish the installation, there is no difference for the command, either on Linux or Docker or Windows, we are running the same commands. SQL commands, no. So that's all. Okay. So in my case, in this DevOps platform, so this is my DevOps. In that, I have, I think, I have a separate user called Docker user. So I think Yeah, Docker is there installed. That first status. Here I did the version change. That's okay. Little bit, that's okay. So Docker, make sure it is installed and the version should be active, and status the process should be up and running. So just as I mentioned earlier, just go to the channel. You can get that knowledge. So after that, try the installation on Docker. That is okay. And if I just go here, let me just come back here. YouTube channel, this one. The DevOps Docker installed on Manicube. This one in this, yeah. Docker install part 1. Yes, so this guide, this is there in the channel, and it is there in the GitHub. In those videos I have given. So you need to install Docker like this, and ultimately it is checking that yum install Docker engine. Yes, everything is fine, and this is the command. System control enable Docker. Yeah, these are the commands. System control status Docker service. So this should be, this was the command other way. Either you can run the Docker status, or you can just run this command, system control status Docker command. It should say active. So in this case, if it is up and running, the status should be active. The service status should be active, like this. Anyway, so that is that. Right. So any other questions related to installation? Hope you can try it out. Yeah, just give a try. Okay, and fine. Then what I want to show you is this. These things. Let me just license information. Yeah, this one. Database license information user manual. Now why I am coming here? Because for you to just to give you an idea about the different Oracle versions available. See, when you get the database versions, I mean the versions in a sense the products, database, not the versions, editions. Versions, when we say version, it will be 11G, 12C, 19C, you know. The database editions, different editions. So we have these things, offering. There is edition is the database offering. Oracle Database Standard Edition. We have Enterprise Edition. SCEE, that's a short name. Oracle Database Enterprise Edition and Oracle Exadata Machine. Now this is a hardware box. Oracle hardware. Oracle Exadata is Oracle hardware. I mean, that is a server. It's a physical server. Oracle Database will be inbuilt in the Exadata box. That is one. These are known as Oracle engineered systems. Oracle engineered systems. Specifically for database, they have engineered these hardware boxes. So if somebody is licensed in this one, hardware box is freely given. Not freely, it is also given for you separately. So that's why instead of a Red Hat box, you can the customer can think about Exadata box with a powerful hardware, and Oracle Enterprise Linux OS is inbuilt to it, and a lot of powerful memory and node, and it optimized for Oracle database. EEEXA, that's what. And personal edition is there. Oracle Cloud Service Standard Editions, Oracle Database Cloud Enterprise Edition. So these are cloud versions. Oracle Database Cloud Enterprise Edition, High Performance, Oracle Database Cloud. Likewise, now, not like earlier, there are different operands in Oracle now. They started from 12.2. Now, if you go back for an older version like 12.1, you don't get this much of operands from Oracle. You are going to have Oracle Personal Edition, Oracle Enterprise Edition, Standard Edition 1. That's it. Only 3 or 4 operands. But now with the 12.2, they are giving many operands, so customers have many choices. I can show you. Let me just. Hold on. Yeah, let me just. I can't click at top. Let me take it back like this because I have shared the screen. Top is not visible. Okay, now it's fine. So I just want to show you an older version, which is like 12.1. No, not that. I think I have closed that one. Yeah, again, this is 12 point, this is 21C actually. Yeah, that's okay. So what I'm going to tell is this: if you get a 12.1 like older version, you will get only these things: Oracle EE, that is Enterprise Edition. Then you are going to have Oracle SC, Standard Edition. Then you are going to have Oracle SC1, Standard Edition 1. Then you're going to have Oracle PE, Personal Edition. Then you're going to have Oracle XC. XC is Express Edition. Express Edition. Now, out of these, Oracle license method, they have something called free products, free, and total free. Total free. I mentioned this one actually, I think earlier. Free for testing and learning. So any Oracle product is free for testing and learning. As far as you are testing, as far as you are learning, even Enterprise Edition is totally available for you with all these features. But if you want to do a business, that is what we mean by total free. Now let's say you want to do a business and you want to earn some money, then you are not fit into the first category, no. Then you are not learning, you are not for testing and learning, you are for business purpose. Then this can be used. Oracle Express Edition. Express Edition. But it is a scaled down version. Scaled down means you don't have that much of features there. For example, maximum capacity will be 20 GB Oracle database. And it will support only 8 GB of memory. Likewise, there are limitations. But you can do a business. You can earn from it without licensing. Now, these products, for example, let's say you are going to use Oracle Enterprise Edition. And without caring what Oracle is telling, you are running a business with that. Now, what's going to happen after a certain time? After a certain time, you will have to, your business need more features. Let's say like you want high availability, HA feature. You want to enable Oracle cluster, that is RAC, Oracle Real Application Cluster. And you are trying to try those things with this without licensing. Then what's going to happen? These bugs are going to get appeared. Bugs, issues. Then you need to fix those things. Now to fix these bugs, you need patches. Patches. In Oracle, bug fixing is known as a patching. Like in Windows, we have service packs. Oracle, it says patches. Now these patches are not freely available. So that is where we want to get caught. Patches. if you keep on doing business with the pre-product, when the bugs are appearing, you can't get the patch for free. To get the patch, you need license. That's all. You need to license the Oracle database. So till that time, you can do it, no problem. But very soon, you need to get the license to get the patches, because these patches are downloadable from a place called mysupport.oracle.com. Like this Oracle e-delivery, there's another place called mysupport.oracle.com. Let's leave from here. MySupport. MySupport.oracle. Now to log into MySupport, your normal login will not work, because now to download Oracle database product, you created a free account. No, now that's account not going to work here. You need to have a separate paid account in order to log into MySupport. Log into MySupport. Now in MySupport only, you get those patches to be downloaded. Okay, so that is just about Oracle licensing. Okay, so any questions up to that place? Are we okay? Looking good.
So if there are no any patches, means we can't update the Oracle version.
Exactly right. You can't even update, migrate. You can't do that. So that's where we get caught. You need license. And otherwise, the product is available to download. No, anyone can use it. It's not expiring. Totally free. All the features also there. There are specific products and specific features like diagnostic pack, tuning packs. Those are not available. But in Enterprise Manager, a lot of things are freely available. 99% things are available freely. Now you all have downloaded Enterprise Edition, no? So you can do anything with it. You can enjoy all the Oracle advanced features for free as testing and learning. Even business you can do, but up to this place. Fine. Okay, so let's now we switch back to this one. And yes, let's try to continue this one. Getting familiar with Oracle installation, I just went through that one. Now, the very first thing is this. Let's say you are sitting in front of a computer. You are sitting in front of a computer. You need to find out whether Oracle is there or not. That's the very first question. Whether Oracle is there or not, you need to find out. I think I am in the DevOps box. Let me again. Now, how can you do it? Let's take it on Windows first. Now, in Windows, you need to find out whether Oracle is installed or database is up and running. How can you do it? Just tell me from your experience now in Windows. Windows is very easy, no? You can see the installation, no? Now you know by now. If you just go to a D or a D and whatever CEO, if you see this folder called App and Oracle, that means there is some installation is running. Even no need to check there, you can go to Start menu and you can look for Oracle for installation. I mean, here we have Oracle 12.1.19. I have both. That will tell you the installation is there, but who knows whether it's working, and who knows whether the database is there. So that's the next question. How do you know in Windows whether the database is there? එකක් දන්නවා ඔයගොල්ලෝ. කොහොමද database එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා බලන්නේ Windows වල. Yeah, you can tell me. Yes, දන්නද කියන්නේ? As an end user, I need to know whether any database is there in my Windows computer.
we have to insert like SQL plus as SDB in command prompt and then enter the command. So any available databases are there.
Okay, good attempt. That is good. Okay, but let me tell you an easier method. What can you do? Go to services. Go to services. Now you got no. Go to services and check whether Oracle database service is there, up and running. Where is that? Let this virtual box start. Okay. So go to services. If you see this Oracle service, now in my machine, I can right away say there are two databases. Why? I can see Oracle service ORCL, Oracle service ORCL 19.3. Got it? That's the easiest way. And I can say both are down because my both services are down. Okay, let me start one of those things. Let's start this one. Now, I need to know the database name. I don't think you can answer that. Very easy. If you locate the end part of the service name, Oracle service, after that, what is appearing is the database name. Oracle service ORCL1. ORCL1 is the database name. So very easy. In Windows, you can right away say, this is the database. It is up, whether it's up and running or not, and like that. So service is down in Windows means your database is also down. You can't do anything in Windows if the service is down, because a service is nothing much, just a communication channel between the database and the operating system. So if it is down, you can't continue to work with Oracle in Windows. Okay, so let it start. In Linux, how can you get to know whether database is up and running in Linux? I don't think, can anyone answer that? First thing is you can, you need to know whether it is installed or not. We can use system MD. Okay, that is another way. I think he's trying to look at the processes. System D, yeah, that's the processes. Daemon processes. Yeah, it's also a good attempt. You can very simply PS minus EF grep CMON process monitor. What I did, PS minus EF grep process monitor. PS is list the processes, EF extract filter, further filter for the process called PMON. PMON is nothing much, a background process called process monitor. We will learn this. In Oracle, we have background process for database. So if this background process is up and running, that means there is an installation running, there is a database running in Oracle, in Linux box. So both we can confirm at once. Further, we can confirm the database name as well. How? You can see the background process, ORA PMON, and you can see the database name. This is the database name. This database name is ITN3043. So everything I can confirm at once in Linux using a simple command. Got it? That is in Linux. PS minus EF grep PMON. So in Windows, now you learn the method and now it's up and running. That's the one. So once you get to know database is there, the next thing is how to connect. So how to connect to the database? I think that's one of you told that one. Very easy. You can just say SQL plus sys/sysdba. Press enter. Yeah. So this is the problem. Me to understand what is this SQL plus sys/sysdba. I just type the command, but now it says TNS protocol adapter error. Okay, let's close down everything. So I'm going to open a new command line. Again, I'm going to try. It still is a protocol adapter error. Anyone knows what's the reason? Now we have this service is up and running. It still says protocol adapter error. Anyone can try to resolve this?
You haven't started the service in the services tab.
There is a service up and running. ORCL is up and running. It is up and running. But I haven't started this one. I think, don't know if you understood that. Now look, it is
19.3.
Exactly. It is looking for 19.3. So I have both installation here. So by default, it is looking for 19.3.1 because that is the latest installation. Now that is another thing to notice when you installing multiple installations in the same host, the order is what you need to install the lowest version first and come up in order. So if you need to put 11G, 12C, 19C, first 11G, then 12C, then 19C, and then 21C. That's the way.
So why we need to install like different versions?
Multiple versions in the same host.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a good question. But in production, we don't do that. But
Okay.
here for learning, we have done that
Uh-huh.
because we need to experiment the features on different versions. So that's
Oh.
why we are doing that. But even in testing environment, not in production. In production, it is highly recommended to have only one database in a single server. That is the recommendation. But in testing environment, let's say when you do a development, you need to test it on 12, you need to testing on 19, likewise for different versions. So then you better have in a single machine, you can have testing environment, multiple versions like that. That is for learning and testing. Now, but here, now how do you correct this? There's a method like this. I can say set, let us try this one. Oracle _ SID. I can try this. What is my database name? ORCL1. Okay, it works now. What I did, my machine is having multiple databases with multiple versions. I wanted to say, no, whatever versions, multiple doesn't matter. I want to connect to this. How did I do that? This is the environment variable setting at operating system level. I'm just telling set environment variable and the value. So once I set this, there's a message going for Oracle. I should look for this value whenever SQL plus is invoked to connect to a database. And if you check this, go to operating system, check the services. Yes, there is something up and running like that. Can establish the connection. Who is the user? Sys as system database administrator. Without password asking to connect. Okay, connect. Now, show parameter name. I want to see where I am connected. ORCL1. Further, select name from Windows database ORCL1. So this is where I am connected to at the moment. So I'm just going through with the practical. We need to understand this in a bit detail. So now in Windows, similarly, same thing I can do in Linux, same command. Now in Windows, we took a step further. Now we know where we are connected to which database, and we know how to connect as well. So before going further, now this you understood, right? Just to tell where to connect which database, environment variable, Oracle SID. Any questions on this? Okay, I think we are clear. Then what is this SQL Plus? It is just a tool, a front-end tool to connect to Oracle database, SQL Plus. It's an Oracle own tool. What is sys? Anyone knows who is sys?
Is the username?
Username, yeah. This is not a normal user. It is a super user of the Oracle database, which has the highest privileges. Like the Windows administrator, like the root in Linux, the super user in Oracle database, the highest user is sys. No one is beyond that. At OS level, there is a user called internal, but database level, the super user is sys. Okay. And whenever you log in as sys, we need to make sure he is connecting with this special role. Roles are nothing much, just set of privileges. And for sys, by default, this role is granted System Database Administrator, sysdba, System Database Administrator. Now, if you don't give that role, see what happens. And it says null password given, logon denied. That is the first error. After that, it will say, even if I, okay, let's give the password. Let's give the password. Let's give a password. I think, okay, if I do this now. Now it says, sys should be system DB or system operator. So you must give that particular role when you're connecting as sys. What is system ops? This is operator. This is system database administrator. This is system operator. So these are different roles in Oracle database. We have many other roles, but DBA is a super role. Operator is a little bit lower than that in terms of privileges. Now, for example, this fellow can't shut down the database because you don't have that much of privileges, but he can back up the database. This DBA can shut down, back up, and he can do whatever he wants. He's a super user. For it. So now we know how to basically how to connect. What? Type in Linux commands in Windows. Okay, right. So the proper way of connecting, this is the best method. There are many methods to connect to Oracle database. Fastest way is this. And now the problem is, even though it is password, I am not entering the password. Just press enter, it connects. Did you notice that? No password. Even though it's asking the password, I am bypassing, just pressing enter. See, I'm not typing any passwords here. SQL plus, that's all. Press enter. How that is possible? Anyone? That, yeah.
Is it like we have to like add commands, and I don't remember command, but I tried that from some commands.
Okay, yeah, we can block it. That's true, but this is the default behavior. Actually, what it does, it's doing something called OS authentication, operating system authentication. Because in Oracle, to authenticate to a DB, we have different methods. One of the methods are database authentication, DBOs. Another one is OS authentication. We can have network authentications. We can have remote authentication. There are 5 methods actually. So what I am doing at the moment is this. So when I do voice authentication, I can skip the password. But to do voice authentication, I need to log in as administrator to the OS or equal admin user. So what Oracle does, it assumes OS privileges are sufficient to authenticate the database because it's admin user, then it allows to log into the database. That is why I don't have to use the password. But in production, this is not recommended. We are violating the security. Why we are violating security? OS admin can do anything because if the OS user is the administrator, let's say it's a system administrator, then he can simply log into the Oracle database and he becomes the admin for Oracle as well, which are two different roles. System administration is different, database administration is different, network administration is different, storage administration is different. Those are different roles in the industry. So if we allow a system administrator same level to the database admin level as well, that's a problem. That's a security violation. So we don't do those things. So we have to enable this authentication layer, enable this middle layer, and we need to block this authentication. Without a password, we should not do it. We should not allow. So let's learn it. We have the practical how to enable that on the security layer. Likewise. Okay. Any questions after this place? Now you know how to log in as well. Can ask any questions for Linux also same way you can just simply type. This is on Linux, same way. No differences for those. Only the database name I am using different name there, and it's a 19C1, 19 base version. Okay, so that is getting to know what is the database is running and likewise. Okay, I write another command, not show parameter, but it is parameters. We will learn that from more detail. In Oracle database, there are many parameters, more than 3000 parameters. Parameters are nothing much. It will tell the behavior of the database. The behavior of the database can be controlled using parameters. Like the settings, for example, how much of memory usage, how much of processors, how much of user connections, a lot of things can be controlled. And again, one of the parameters is database name. That's why DB name, when we create in the database, we can set the name using the DB name parameter. So that's why to get the name, I just type show parameter name. And I use another method, select name from video database. Now this is another one. This is known as dynamic performance views. $. Those are not normal tables. Starting from $. Dynamic performance views. We have tables as well. The difference is this is giving the runtime information. Access from memory. And another place called control file. We will learn it later. What is happening now in the database, we can take from this dynamic performance views. There are another set of tables called static tables. Those tables are not up to date. For example, I can just show you, can say describe, let's describe DB underscore tables. Now this one, DB underscore tables, there is no $. Starting, no. So static view. It's not up to date, but it will give you as of now what are the tables in the database. I'm just describing. It will give you the columns, but you can get the set of table names in the database, Oracle tables. Normal tables are there, no create table command. So VROL database. VROL, there are a lot of VROLs, you will get to know later. So from that also I can get the name from VROL database. So it gives the same thing, ORCL1, ORCL1. Okay, are we clear? Any questions you can ask? Okay, right. So how do you know the status of the database? Now we know there's a database and it is accessible. How do you know whether it's running or what is the current status? You can run select status from VROL. So I'm accessing another one, instance, Windows instance. So it is saying open. The database is up and running, open. These all commands are there in those guides. I'm just going to, since it is the first session, I'm just putting you the base. So once the installation is done, you need to try these things. So that's why, like, that's why you somehow you must do the installation. There is no way out. Installation practical move. And at the end of the lessons, the assignments are totally practical based, right? So you can't skip. Somehow you need to get the installation done. So talk to me. Send the issues you are facing, so you need to get it done. So in the last batch, everybody did the installation, previous batch. So get it done somehow. Either Windows or Linux is fine. Select status from Windows instance. Yeah, now it is open. Let me tell you this one also. I'm typing this command. Shut down. Open no. Using option called immediate. What is this? I'm shutting down my database. And when I'm shutting down, Oracle is going through different stages. So this is, I did it on Windows. No, normally it takes time. Linux by now it has been shut down. Like this is on Windows. Normally performance is lower in Windows. So it's still shutting down. Maybe then down right? It's okay. Right. So see, you saw 3 stages: cross, dismounted, instance down. 3 steps. To start it again, I'm just typing a command called startup. Startup. So now you notice it will go in the opposite way. Final step was shut down, but now on the startup, the persist step will be instant starting. This is normal in Windows. Takes at least one minute to complete the startup. This is not nothing to do with the performance of the machine or memory. Normal desktop now, my machine is a Core i7 with has 24 GB of RAM. So more than memory is there, but this is nature, normal. So Windows, so that's why you can't rely on Windows for production. And Oracle instant, yeah. So you can see instant started. The last step became the first step, then it mounted, finally it opened. But this is just a very high level. I am telling these steps. We need to dig in further and identify what are these steps in detail. What do you mean by instance, and what is mean by starting, and what do you mean by mounting, opening? All the steps you need to understand in detail. So finally it is open. I can restart also. Start up. I can give this command. Now it's up. No. So I can just give startup pause. It will restart. Startup pause. Invalid user parameter. SQL internal state and unsafe to proceed. Yeah. This is, I have blocked it, the pause command. So that's okay. That's a setting that I have done, but let's switch to Linux and do it. You can do it on Windows. That is this internal parameter. Startup pause. This will restart. But the thing is, it won't show me the shutdown operation. Shutdown operation is hidden, but it will show me the startup. See how fast it is. Almost shut down. Now it is starting. This is on. See how fast. 10 times faster than Windows. Even in lesser memory. Now this fellow has only 8 GB of memory, I think. For Windows machine, it has almost 12 GB of RAM. Okay. So startup pause. That is to restart. But this is not a good practice in production to restart like this. But let's learn that in more detail later. Why is that? Okay, so did you get those things? Any questions you can ask? So these are very basic to get familiar with Oracle database. So any questions you can ask? Did you try those things? No, I don't think. You may have done only the installation. So if you can do the installation by next time, before joining the class next time, you can try out those things. Because again, now you saw the rhythm. The rhythm is going to be all, it's hands-on, theory, both are going in parallel. We don't do, in my cases, I am not doing separate practical and theory. It will be interactive like this. So best thing is for you to ready with your computer and you can do it with me parallel. That's the best way to learn. And when the issues are coming, you can ask me, sir, there's a problem like this. What is the solution? So that's the usual way I'm doing the lectures. So try to get the installation by next week. If you have issues, just email me and let me help you. And if it is further troubling, I give my WhatsApp number as well so that you can contact me. But I don't think installation cannot be, that's a big, not a big challenge getting Oracle installation done. So try to get it done. Are you okay? Any questions? So if there are no questions, I think we can stop here. Okay, so try to stay safe. So now we know what's happening now. So try to stay safe. Don't follow all the best health practices. We know tsunami is on the way with Omicron, right? That is understood. So stay safe. All right. So have a good night then. I'll meet you on next week. Okay. Have a great time. Bye. Bye.